Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topics today are Israel, the dollar, firearm restrictions, Russia, and China. And I'm going to start with Israel. So this lady says, I served in the IDF 25 years ago in intelligence forces, and that there's no way, in her view, that Israel didn't know what was coming. Something's very wrong. According to Benjamin Fulford, he says that this is all a contrived war to milk more money out of the United States to give it to the Molochs. So, I don't know. I'll pass it along. Developing thousands of pro-Hamas agitators and ultra-Orthodox Jews calling for Israel's destruction. Shut down the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, you remember one of the prophecies that was given to Leslie is that protesters would be complaining because America sent help to Israel. That's one of the things. When we turn our back on Israel, that's the last straw. Okay, and God goes ahead and allows us to be destroyed. Brawl breaks out after Hamas sympathizer viciously assaults pro-Israeli protester, trying to stop another scumbag from burning Israel's flag during pro-Hamas rally at Tulane University. We've seen this on the news. There's been protests all over. I remember one of the angels that spoke to Dmitri said that there would come a time when there would be evidence between the holy and the unholy. Be something that would make it easy to see the difference. Well, is it how we treat Israel? Is it that the Christians are going to back Israel and then the sinners are not? It's going to be interesting to watch. Let me encourage you to go to Joseph Kitchen. As all of these things are coming on us in these last days, this, in my opinion, this is what I call famine food. During the 7 years of plenty, they stored wheat. During the 7 years of famine, they ate wheat. As a matter of fact, it was wheat that fed the entire world for 7 years. And Joseph Kitchen sells the best kind that is made for making whole wheat bread. And it's become one of the primary things I eat is bread. I have a slice for breakfast and one, here I'm going to be leaving for a racquetball as soon as I get done talking today. In another few minutes, and I'll have another slice today. So typically I have 2 slices a day. And so what I recommend you do is go and get a machine package. That's the machines you need to actually make the bread. And then you decide how much food you want, whether it's 6 people a year, 4 people a year, 2 people a year. I actually made that loaf of bread. As a matter of fact, I've now made close to 200 loaves of bread, and I love it. It's excellent, and it's good for you. My cholesterol has come down, my blood pressure has come down, and it's my opinion, it's all because I've been eating bread. So if you take a loaf of bread, you cut it into 14 slices, 2 slices a day, that means about one loaf of bread per person per week. And that means that it's about $10 a week or just food cost about $500 a year to feed a person in an emergency situation. It takes about 10 minutes to make, 2 hours and 20 minutes to cook. And then when you get done cooking, everybody in the house wants one because it fills the whole house with this wonderful smell. I strongly recommend you go to Joseph Kitchen and get you some of this food. This is famine food, in my opinion. And I'll let you pause and read all about it. That'll tell you more about it. Also, I recommend you go to solarsurge.net and ask Joe, email him, ask Joe to tell you what it would cost for you to get solar for your house. There's all kinds of budgets, all kinds of things that he can help you to do. You guys talk to your budget and see what you can do. Also, I encourage you to go to EMP Shield. And yes, we're going to get back to the program here in just a second. But if you have one of these devices on your house and your car, when a suitcase nuke or some kind of an EMP blast hits your house, hopefully your car is still going to start. There's some disadvantages in all of it. And one of the things you can also look at is griddown.com. Get a 7% discount if you use prophecy, the word prophecy. And if you use the word prophecy, the promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount here. Next article, very interesting. Pharmacia, how the drug of jihad is allowing the terrorists to commit heinous crimes with a sense of indifference. I thought this was real interesting. The Jerusalem Post recently reported that Hamas terrorists were found to be under the influence of Captagon, a synthetic amphetamine-type stimulant. Even many of the dead terrorists were found to still have scores of pills in their pockets. This drug, known as cocaine for the poor, allowed the terrorists to commit such heinous acts with a sense of indifference. At the same time, it kept them highly alert for extended periods while also acting as an appetite suppressant. In other words, the perfect pill to get someone to go and kill and kill and kill and kill and keep going for about 4 days straight. Captagon has now become a major source of income for Syria and is actively reported by Israel's enemy in the north, Hezbollah. So lucrative is this trade that profits generated from the sale of Captagon exceed those of Syria's legitimate exports. In 2020 alone, it is estimated that Captagon reached $3.5 billion. That's a lot. Captagon was first manufactured in 1961 as an alternative to amphetamine and methamphetamine, used at the time to treat narcolepsy, fatigue, and the behavioral disorder, and minimal brain dysfunction. Dextromethorphan, however you say that, was reportedly used in the military of some countries to, here it is, this is the point, enabled soldiers to stay awake for long periods of time and to enhance courage and bravado. In other words, makes them a killing machine. However, the version used by ISIS and probably Hamas is far more potent than the Captagon of the 80s. This, quote, New Age Captagon affects the brain circuitry of the user, leading to irreversible changes in the brain that govern impulse control, judgment, therefore taking away a person's ability to reason or think rationally. In other words, they're just a killing machine. How sad is it to think that a legitimate drug used to treat medical conditions has become known as the Drug of Jihad. It not only produces soldiers with no fear or conscience, but also funds their activities with billions of dollars from sales. So, not only must Israel fight a kinetic and cyber war, but it also must find ways to stop the drug which fuels and funds these terrorists, since counterfeit versions of the drug are primarily produced in Syria and Lebanon. But although production is primarily centered in those countries, the largest consumers of the drug, Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states like UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, with evidence of drugs making their way to Libya and Sudan. What is most concerning for any soldier on the battlefield is the Captagon can keep an enemy fighter on their feet for days without taking a break. Lebanese psychiatrists explained that after taking Captagon, you're talkative, you don't sleep, you don't eat, you're energetic. Perfect. A perfect battlefield drug. A Syrian police officer recounted his experience when dealing with an anti-government protester. We would beat them, and they wouldn't feel the pain. Many of them would laugh while we were hitting them with heavy blows. We would leave the prisoners for about 48 hours, and then we could finally talk to them. On to the next one. Biden and Macron pushing for 2 states after Gaza War. Israelis and Palestinians equally deserve side by side to live side by side in safety and dignity. So obviously France and the United States are twisting the arm of Israel to give the Palestinians a state. Now, Genesis 12:3, this is God speaking. He's talking to Abraham. I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse them that curse thee, and thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So I've had people send me emails. Are you for Israel or not? Oh, well, let's put it this way. I believe in the King James Bible, and I do my best to read it and follow it. And since the King James Bible says, I will bless the descendants of Abraham, those that bless them, and I will curse them that curse them, that means I'll always stand with Israel. Now notice it does not say, I will bless them that support Israel when Israel's right. In other words, we should support Israel even when they're wrong. What? Wait a minute, that didn't make the no, I understand. It's God's responsibility to judge Israel. It's our responsibility to support them. That's the way I look at it. Okay, so let's on to the next one. J.P. Morgan billionaire Jamie Dimon will sell $141 million of the bank's stock. What is going on? For the last, I don't know, couple of months, I've had numerous articles on about banks closing their doors. Do you think this J.P. Morgan billionaire, do you think he knows something we don't know? I think he does. I think he is bailing. He's getting his money out of the banking system because he knows the dollar's about to fall. U.S. halts exports of the most civilian firearms for 90 days. Wait a minute. I thought that our ownership to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, this is infringing. So it goes on to say the U.S. has stopped issuing export licenses for most civilian firearms and ammunition for 90 days. Okay, well, that's just a start. If they can get it for 90 days, they'll do it from then on, too. And once they get that done, I mean, it's once you let the camel's nose in the tent, the body follows. So it goes on to say for 90 days, for all non-governmental users, the Commerce Department said on Friday, citing national security and foreign policy interests. So yeah, it's a form of getting the guns out of our hands. And let me say this also. I don't think that our forefathers wanted us to have guns so we could go deer hunting. I think they wanted them to have guns, and they wanted us to have guns so that the evil people in high places would not try to run all over us. When they took the guns away from Australia, of course, as you look in the last pandemic, they ran all over the people, and they told the people what they could do and what they couldn't do. See, in America, that's the thing that has kept our freedom. Now, I'm talking about in the physical. We know that there's a spiritual thing too. But in the physical, that's the thing that's kept our freedom, kept the evil people in high places off our necks as long as it has. They get the guns, they'll take anything they want and kill anybody they want. There have been 565 mass shootings in the United States so far this year. I'll read that again. 565 mass shootings, and a mass shooting is defined as 4 or more victims are shot and killed. How are they doing that? Well, if you go to donaldmarshallrevolution.com and you read there, you'll find, and I probably shouldn't say it, I probably should let you go there and read it, but there is a way to take over the body of a person and make them do anything and everything you want them to do. And he describes it there. Now, do I know that's true? No, I do not know that's true. I do not have actual proof of it. But it sounds reasonable. Look, but let's put it this way. How they do it is not the main point. It's the fact that somehow, some way, evil people have the ability to get someone to go out and do a head-on collision. I skipped an article where there's another head-on collision. Matter of fact, if you're a good guy, you might get shot. You might be part of a head-on collision. I remember there was one guy that's pretty popular on the internet, and he said that he had someone come to him and say, if you don't shut up, you're going to die, and they will not be able to prove who did it, and you'll be dead. And he says a couple of days later, he said he had a guy on purpose try to run him down, try to kill him. And he said he was able to dodge it. So there was an accident, but it didn't kill him. And he said he saw the guy that it was, he said it was an intentional thing. He said he was intentionally trying to kill me with a car. He said, I saw him outside of his car sitting on the curb, and he was rubbing his eyes, and he didn't even know he'd had an accident. So there's high technology, and it's not just causing our weather. It's not just causing wars. They're using high technology to kill us, my brothers and sisters. Russia says that America will not be at the center of the coming New World Order. How do they know that? Because they know they're going to be at the center of it. You remember that the angel told Dmitry Duduman, the fall of America would start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people would start fighting against the government. The government would be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, and other countries would attack and defeat America in 1 day, 1 hour. Then God would raise up China, Japan, and many of the nations that would go against the Russians and defeat the Russians. Here it is. And they would back the Russians to the gates of Paris where they signed a peace treaty. but they make the Russians their leader. With the Russians as their leader, all the world goes down to attack Israel. Israel can't count on the help of the Jews in America, so she cries for Messiah. Jesus returns in the clouds and defeats the armies of the earth. That's Armageddon. Now, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 38, it's specifically talking about Russia and how Russia will come down and attack Israel. So here it is. Why does Russia know that America is not going to be leading the world? Because Russia knows it's going to be leading the world. People's Voice says Russian citizens told to prepare for incoming nukes as Putin sounds World War III siren. That's right. So they had a nuke day in Russia. They sounded all the sirens. They said, act as if nuclear weapons from the United States are headed your way. Everybody went underground. Everybody got prepared. Everybody made sure that they had their food and the water and prepared to stay underground for a length of time. When's the last time America did that? As a matter of fact, when I was a child, they played this video and they told us when I was in grade school, it's called Duck and Cover. And in those days, we were making fallout shelters. You go to a movie theater downtown, they had a fallout shelter. There were fallout shelters every place. But today, nobody has a fallout shelter. Some of them have places, under the ground, but I'm talking about as far as an organized way to go underground to survive a nuclear attack. No, America, we don't have that. We should, but we don't. U.S. announces new nuclear weapon 24 times more powerful than the one dropped on Hiroshima. Oh, wow, that's big. No, that's not big, because Putin is saying that he's got one 360 times more powerful than what was dropped in Hiroshima. America's planned new nuclear bomb that's 24 times as powerful as Hiroshima can destroy underground targets, improved accuracy, detonates closer to the ground. Not impressed. Blast radius 3.5 miles, not impressed. Putin has one probably powerful enough one could drop on the DFW area and it's gone. It's just scorched earth. 360 times more powerful than Hiroshima, and he openly says nobody in the world can shoot it down. It's hypersonic, 28 times the speed of sound. It can slow down. It can go up, down, left, right, change speeds. We don't have anything like that. Putin knows he can take out America anytime he wants to. Sad to say, God has helped him to do that because of our sin. Putin warns that when Russia nukes America, there will be no chance of survival and there will be no single enemy left. In other words, Putin knows he can destroy all the enemies of Russia. Next headline, leaders at the UN just made a 7-year agreement to implement a single global agenda. Sounds just like Daniel 9:27, doesn't it? Sounds like world government, if it's not here, if it didn't start on 10/5 of 2022, as Terry Bennett says he was told, it's about to. De-dollarization drive is spreading wider. Indonesia now becomes the latest nation to join the anti-dollar movement. So there's the BRICS, that would be Brazil, Russia, China, Indonesia, South Africa, and 41 other nations, now I guess 42, that are all going around the dollar, and it goes online January 1 of 2024. So by mid-24, you can expect hard times to be in America. That's the reason you want to go to Joseph Kitchen and get yourself some food. New Pentagon report warns that China could have 1,000 nuclear warheads, missiles that can strike the U.S. by 2030. Wouldn't you like to know the truth? My guess is they aren't going to have 1,000 nuclear warheads. My guess is they already have 1,000 nuclear warheads. And if they don't, Russia's probably giving them to them. Russia is reported to have like 8,000. America has about 5,000. But, it doesn't make a difference how many you have. What makes a difference is how many of them can be delivered without being stopped. Elon Musk and Neuralink are looking for volunteers to try brain computer chips. Well, why would they want that? So that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. I remember I saw this article when I was a kid, I'm going to say 12, 13, 14 years old. There was, on Friday nights I had these scary movies. Well, one was about a UFO that crashed in these people's backyards. And the dad went out to check on it. And he fell into this sand pit, this sand like in a twirling thing, kind of like a world sand pit, sucked him down in the sand pit. And then a couple of hours later, he walked into the front of his house, and he's just fine. Has no emotion, and he is totally controlled. And his wife notices that right back here on the back of his neck, has been an incision. And that's the whole point of the movie, that people that went out to this crash site disappeared, were sucked underground, and then sometime later they appeared and they were fine, except they all had a little insert right here, some kind of a computer chip. Now, that was back when I was a kid. Now, remember Lindsey Williams said that the evil elite, they think themselves good sportsmen. And they think it is bad sportsmanship not to tell the unsuspecting public what they're doing. And so could it be, and the way they tell them is through music, through movies, through news, and could it be that this is old technology? Could it be that they've been doing this for 80 years? I'd like to know the truth. Wouldn't you like to know the truth on a lot of things? I thought this was real interesting. These two calves, were born, one the day before and one on September 25th of 2014, which just happens to be a Shemitah. A Shemitah means 7, like 2 means, or a couple means 2, or a dozen means 12. In Hebrew, Shemitah means 7. And so I believe the prophecy is saying that it started 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. 7 years of plenty because the black and white cow has a perfect 7 on his forehead. The red cow has a scribbled 7 on his forehead. What are the chances both those cows are born within 24 hours and released to the public on the same day? I think it's of God saying 7 years of plenty started in 2014 and 7 years of famine started in 2021 and concludes to 2028. That's still in the ballpark. A lot of people think it's the tribulation. Now, that would mean that we are, at this point, in a famine. So what do? You do what Joseph did. The world lived off of bread. But in all the land of Egypt there was bread. The people cried to Pharaoh for bread. That's wheat. So the world lived off of wheat for 7 years, and I'm going to recommend you do the same thing. We have had 150 food sources destroyed the last 18 months. No arrests, we've had train derailments, China stopped container ships, threatening to stop all of them, Russia attacked Ukraine, breadbasket. I mean, our food is under attack. Klaus Schwab says you will own nothing but be happy. They're in the process of taking everything we own. This is a loaf of bread I actually cooked. I actually cooked this. And as a matter of fact, I've already had a slice of bread this morning. And I've noticed that as long as I have at least one slice a day, I feel okay. It's best if I have 2 slices, like one for breakfast, one for lunch. Even if I'm not hungry, it's not that I'm eating it for food or because I'm hungry. It's because my body demands it. So josephkitchen.com, they can point you to get the right wheat, all the wherewithal you need to make bread. One loaf cut into 14 slices. If you eat 2 slices a day, I find that about 1 loaf feeds 1 person per week. 1 slice breakfast, 1 slice dinner, better nutrition, long storage life, some 3,000 years, 10 minutes to make bread machine. The weakness is the electricity, but if you go to josephkitchen.com, they can show you how to solve all of those problems.
Introducing the Watch Prophecy Club app, now available for your Android and iOS devices. Watch Prophecy Club is your exclusive home for the last 30+ years of the best in Bible prophecy and end times information from the Prophecy Club. This app features over 100 speakers and 23 categories of Prophecy Club titles since the beginning. We are also excited to announce an integrated community feature where you can interact with other believers and Bible prophecy students. Choose either a monthly or annual subscription with a 3-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
So what is an EMP Shield device? It's a device you can put on your car and your house that in an EMP attack is supposed to stop the attack. And if you go to empshield.com and if you use the promo code prophecy, they give you a $50 discount. They also have videos up there, shows you how to install it on your car and your house and everything, and it's not difficult at all. I've got one of them right here. Red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to the car, body of your car, and you just peel it off the back, stick it under there. Got another device that goes on your house. So, not complicated. Take you about 10 minutes to put them in. So, empshield.com, promo code is prophecy.